It's quite simple to say. We all know that the cost of living has gone up and it's going to continue to do so. It is all across the headlines at the moment. On average, energy prices have gone up 40% year on year. The average person is about 1.2k worse off per year than they used to be. And it's the bottom 10% of households that are likely to be the most impacted. So this is one that, while it's going to be very different for different people, it is going to impact 90% of the audiences we're reaching out to at the moment.
And I think the big key as well is we've got all these stats coming out now, but actually it's something that's starting to be spoken about a lot more as well. We're getting a lot more questions obviously internally, and we're chatting about it more as an office, and actually more questions from yourselves as well, actually coming to us and sort of saying about our opinions and views, which is really, I think, a big sign of actually how much it's kind of starting to affect us as well.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. So some facts and some figures and a little bit of insight before we really get into it. So this comes directly from Parliament when they're looking at the change in commuter pricing index over the last few months. As you'll see, you look at that little dip in there in 2020, everything dropped off as you would expect because the world pretty much came to a standstill. But off the back of this year, new year this year, you can see that very, very steep curve as the cost of living is significantly increasing at a rate of knots. There's no avoiding it, but the good news is when you look at those forecasts and what's going to happen coming into 2023 and more specifically 2024, it is expected to flatten out and it's expected to come back down. Yes, it will continue to be higher than it was during lockdown, but it's not going to be as near as kind of the peak that we were looking at 2017. So it is going to balance out. It's just how we move forward and how we manage to really use it almost to our advantage, rather than looking at it as negative, try to make it as much of a positive as we can. Why has it risen? This is the debate that continues going on. There are immediately three reasons that people come to mind. The increase in utility bills and energy bills generally, we've all seen it go up. That's something that just isn't really avoidable. But on top of that, there is the backlash from the COVID-19 coronavirus and the fact that we spent 2 years in lockdown. That was always going to have a bit of an impact on us. And then the last point that a lot of people are bounding around and saying it's part of the impact is Brexit, and the fact that we are quite a few years now into it. Now we are 2 years into being no longer part of Europe. What impact is that actually having on it? I think the key point to think about on all of this is it's not just one of these things that's caused this. It's the fact that we've had a knock-on effect of one after the other after the other. So it really has kind of built up almost like a perfect storm.